COVID-19 has brought about many disruptions in organizations. Some employees have managed to respond well to the changes while others have not. This has opened a large research portal to evaluate how the adversities of COVID-19 have impacted the workplace. Our study focuses on how employee embeddedness has been impacted by the changes that organizations have implemented. More specifically, how employees who are embedded to their jobs through feeling valuable in the organization have responded to the effects of COVID-19. A study done by Lee and colleagues describes how on-the-job embeddedness can affect an employee's performance or participation decisions. They describe how on-the-job embeddedness has high correlation with factors such as satisfaction, commitment, and turnover, and further discuss how the turnover may be mostly due to effects shared with job attitudes. They hypothesize that on-the-job embeddedness does not predict the withdrawal behaviors such as voluntary turnover and absences, and found a significant positive relationship on these results. Additionally, the study also puts into consideration that on-the-job embedded employees feel that they fit well in their jobs and effectively apply their skills. Potgieter and colleagues state that job embeddedness presumes person-environment correspondence and relates to how well an employee perceives themselves to be a good job fit in their current job and within the organization. Much emphasis is put into the ties or links they have with the people at work and what benefits they would have to sacrifice should they decide to leave the organization. Hence, feeling valued in the organization is one of the main factors associated with job embeddedness. Feeling personally valued in your organization can also be connected to the citizenship behavior described in the study by Lee as well as Haisi Gatijiva. This ultimately means contributing towards enhancing the team by assisting where necessary and interacting with colleagues as a part of a community. Research done by Hamoyan and team determined that some employees who were considered embedded to their organizations would consider leaving should their job security be threatened. The fear of losing their jobs would result in a loss of connection with their supervisors, as well as a lack of faith in the company's ideals being compatible with their own. A study done by Emmett and his colleagues on the employee experience with COVID-19 showed that more than 80% of their research participants had been affected by the pandemic in their daily work life. The report indicates that some employees are struggling, whilst others strive through the changes. Another study done by Carnival and Hatak echoes the same sentiments in that organizations face a grand challenge as they alter their workforce in technical, physical, and social psychological ways not seen before. As stated by Potgieter, there is a high demand for retaining top talent in a highly competitive and turbulent working environment. It is therefore important to look at whether employees who are embedded are at a potential of leaving the organization, or have they coped with the changes? With regards to the hypothesis, we wanted to evaluate how on-the-job embeddedness was affected in the adversity of the pandemic-related changes. We particularly wanted to base the study on employees who felt valued in their organizations, which can be linked to job satisfaction. The assumption was that employees who feel valued are satisfied in their roles and would exhibit high commitment to the organizations, despite the disruptions that have been caused by COVID-19 in the organizations. Hence the hypothesis. Employees who feel valued at work have successfully managed the pandemic-related changes in the workplace.
To begin testing our hypothesis, we chose 3 questions from the Job Embeddedness Questionnaire that was supplied to us from the lecturers. The questionnaire was distributed via email and WhatsApp using the Google Forms platform to gather the data. The questions were recorded using a 1 to 5 Likert scale to analyze the responses. The 3 questions are: I feel personally valued at work, denominated V1. I would be happy to work at my organization until I retire, denominated V2. And I have been able to improve my relations with colleagues due to the new way of working, denominated V3. We ran a correlation test to determine the association between the variables V1, V2, and V3, and then we performed a regression analysis to model employees' value proposition to their propensity to stay with the organization despite the pandemic impact, or the inclination to improve relationships with their co-workers. A total of 257 responses were received. The population is described as predominantly South African, between the ages of 30 and 49, with a good representation in the ethnic group split. The gender representation was 55% male and 45% female. Moving on to the descriptor statistics, the question's histograms are presented. V1 has a positively skewed shape with a median of 4. V2 has a more symmetrical shape with a median of 3, whilst V3 is also positively skewed with a median of 3 as well. These are the remaining descriptive statistics. The regression analysis statistics are presented. The model from the regression analysis is derived from the previously presented statistics, and the correlation data show a strong correlation between V1 and V2, whilst a weak correlation between V1 and V3 is evident. It must be noted that there are limitations with the data analysis as shown. From our method, there are many other variables that were not accounted for, such as industry type, amongst others. From the analysis point of view, regression analysis assumes that the future looks something like the past, because it is derived from historical data. Therefore, it is only a prediction based on what has happened. There could be variables other than V2 and V3 which would influence the response. We did not look at the interaction of the other questions on our hypothesis. From a correlation point of view, a strong correlation relationship does not imply a cause and effect relationship, and Pearson's correlation statistics are biased towards a linear relationship. In conclusion, the results of the regression analysis suggest that if a person feels personally valued at work, they will tend to be happy to work for an organization until they retire. However, improving relationships with colleagues due to the new way of working has no statistical significance on feeling valued or improving relationships. Based on this, our recommendations to future leaders would be as follows. Number 1, managers and leaders must enhance the work conditions and practices to support the evolving career development needs and concerns of valuable employees post-COVID-19, so that they continue feeling valued. This will positively influence the person-environment correspondence and therefore retain them for longer. Number 2, organizations must find useful ways to manage their employee relations as they navigate through challenges such as social distancing and virtual meetings. One way would be to increase collaborative work which encourages engagement and being valued as part of a team. And number 3, in general, managers should survey employee on the job and off the job embeddedness on a regular basis. There are a lot of factors that could result in low employee embeddedness, which has been associated with cause to leave. It would be vital for managers to act promptly when they notice indicators of inadequate embedding before they turn into a wave of withdrawal and voluntary turnover. Continuous monitoring can lead to rapid and crucial remediation. Thank you.